You send her a message. She sees it, and nothing. No reply, just silence. You check her story. She's active. She's posting, maybe even liking your photos. And in that moment, something inside you drops. Because it's not about the text anymore. It's about what it means. Is she ignoring you? Did you do something wrong? Or is there something deeper going on behind that unread message? In today's video, we're breaking down 7 psychological reasons why a woman sees your message but doesn't reply, and how to read her silence like a language. Because once you understand what's really happening behind that quiet screen, you'll stop overthinking and start responding like a man who knows his worth. Before we break this down, I want you to ask yourself something. Why does her silence bother you so much? Is it really about her, or about what you feel when you're not chosen? Because understanding that reaction, the urge to chase validation, is the first step toward mastering it. This video isn't just about her behavior. It's about your emotional awareness as a man. If you're ready to level up not just in dating, but in emotional control, hit like and subscribe. This is where we turn silence into self-awareness. Be honest in the comments. What do you usually do when someone leaves you on read? Wait. Text again? Or walk away? Because once you see how silence triggers you, you'll understand the real reason it holds so much power. And that's where we begin. Number 1, she's keeping you as an option. You text her, she sees it, and then nothing. No reply, no reaction. Maybe a day later, she drops a random emoji on your story or comments, haha, under a meme you posted. She's not gone. She's still orbiting you. But she's not really there either. It's confusing, right? You start wondering what you did wrong, or if you should send another message just to check in. But here's the truth. She's not ghosting you. She's benching you. Some women don't cut you off completely, because they like the comfort of knowing you're still there. You're not her priority, but you're her safety net. She likes the validation that comes from your attention. It reminds her that she could have you if she wanted to. You're the backup plan she doesn't want to lose, yet doesn't want to commit to either. Psychologically, this isn't about cruelty. It's about control and emotional security. Keeping you on standby gives her a subtle sense of power. She gets to feel desired without having to risk rejection herself. It's like having an emotional insurance policy. She knows that if her current interests fall through, you'll still be there, ready to respond with warmth and interest. Here's what it looks like in real life. She replies only when she's bored or lonely. She never initiates a conversation. Her messages are short, generic, and vague. LOL, you too, or haha yeah. She gives just enough to keep the connection alive, but never enough to move it forward. And every time she pops back in, it gives you just enough hope to stay invested. That's the cycle. And it's designed to keep you hooked. The hard truth is this. When you allow yourself to be the option, you teach her that your attention is endless, your time is flexible, and your self-respect is negotiable. The moment you sense that pattern, you need to step back. Stop feeding energy into something that doesn't feed you back, because attraction dies in one-sided effort. If she truly wants you, she'll make it obvious. You won't need to decode mixed signals or guess what she means. If you have to guess, she's already told you the answer. And when you pull away, calmly, without anger, she'll either step up or disappear. Either way, you win. Because you stop waiting for someone who only keeps you around for comfort, not connection. Number 2, you're low on her priority list. It's a hard pill to swallow, but here's the reality. Everyone makes time for what matters to them. If she's scrolling through Instagram, posting selfies, laughing in comment sections, or uploading new stories but somehow can't find 5 seconds to reply to your text, the message is loud and clear. You're just not high on her list right now, and that's not always malicious. It's just human nature. People prioritize the things that give them emotional payoff. When a woman's excited by someone, she can't help but check her phone. She'll find a moment between meetings, during lunch, even right before bed, because she wants to. But when that emotional spark isn't there, the text thread with you starts to feel like an obligation, something she'll get to later, but later never comes. This is where most guys mess up. They take it personally. They start over-explaining, following up, asking if everything's okay, not realizing that every extra message only reinforces the imbalance. The more you chase, the further down her list you fall. Understand this. Attraction thrives on reciprocity, not persistence. When her effort shrinks, your job isn't to compensate. It's to match her energy. If she's distant, mirror that distance. If she's not initiating, stop leading every interaction. When you stop over-investing, you create space. And in that space, she either realizes your absence or replaces you. Either outcome reveals the truth you need. There's also psychology at play here. Women, like men, are emotional prioritizers. They don't always choose based on logic or fairness. They follow what feels exciting, validating, or emotionally engaging in the moment. So if you're not the focus right now, it's not necessarily because you did something wrong. It might just mean the emotional rhythm between you has faded. Your best move isn't to fight for her attention. It's to redirect your energy. Reclaim that focus. Let her see what it looks like when your world doesn't revolve around her response. Because the moment you stop waiting, she'll notice the silence. She'll notice that something, someone, who used to orbit her no longer does. And that shift alone speaks louder than any follow-up text. When you stop chasing her reply, you force her to reevaluate your place in her world. If you want to be a priority, start acting like one. Number 3, she's sending a message without sending a message. Silence can be unsettling, especially when it comes after a message you poured thought into. You see the read receipt, the timestamp, maybe even notice she's online a few minutes later. Yet nothing. No words. Just that blank space staring back at you. But here's what most men miss. Her silence is communication. It's not random. It's data. And if you know how to read it, you'll stop taking it so personally. Women are emotionally intuitive communicators. They rarely say, "I need space," or "I'm not sure how I feel." Instead, they show it through distance, through slower replies, through that quiet withdrawal that speaks louder than confrontation ever could. Sometimes she's not ignoring you. She's trying to send a message she doesn't want to verbalize. It could mean she needs space. Maybe your messages came too often or too intense. It could mean she's losing interest, but doesn't want to deal with the guilt of rejecting you outright. Or it could be a subtle test. She's watching how you handle uncertainty. Will you stay composed and confident, or will you spiral into insecurity and double-text your way into proving her point? Here's the truth. When a woman stops replying, she's not just seeing what you'll say next. She's observing who you become next. If you panic, flood her inbox, or start guilt-tripping her for not responding, you confirm her suspicion that your confidence depends on her attention. But when you stay grounded, when you don't flinch, it sends a much stronger message. You're comfortable with silence, and you don't seek validation where it isn't offered. Psychologically, silence is a mirror. It reflects your level of self-control. It reveals whether you act from need or from choice. So the next time you feel tempted to check in after being left on read, pause. Let the silence breathe. Let it do the talking for you. Because if her quiet is a message, your calm is a response, one that carries more weight than words ever could. Sometimes maturity isn't about saying the right thing. It's about knowing when to say nothing at all. Because in the game of silence, the one who needs to speak first is the one who loses their power. Number 4. She's just not interested. It's not easy to accept, but sometimes the silence isn't a test, a signal, or a mystery. It's just a quiet no. She's not busy. She's not unsure. She's not overthinking. She's simply not interested. And that's okay. Most women don't like confrontation. They won't say, "I'm not feeling it," because they don't want to hurt you or deal with the discomfort that comes with rejecting someone. So instead, they fade, slowly, subtly. They stop replying as much. Their messages get shorter. They avoid making plans. And before you know it, you're talking to yourself in a chat that used to feel alive. It's easy to take this personally, to think you weren't enough, that you did something wrong. But that's not the truth. Attraction isn't a reward for effort. It's chemistry, timing, alignment. You can't force connection any more than you can force respect. Her silence isn't an insult. It's a form of clarity, one that saves you time, dignity, and emotional energy. Look for the signs. She never initiates conversation. When she replies, it's dry and detached, like she's checking a box, not connecting. She always seems too busy to meet up, yet somehow manages to post stories or hang out with friends. She reads your messages, but there's no warmth behind her words. That inconsistency. That's your answer. Here's where emotional maturity comes in. Instead of chasing closure, give it to yourself. You don't need her explanation to move forward. Her silence is the explanation. And the moment you accept that, you reclaim your power. Because every second you spend waiting for someone who's indifferent is a second you could spend building connection with someone who's excited to talk to you. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. It means you're refusing to participate in something one-sided. The right woman won't make you chase clarity. She'll offer it freely because she values your time as much as you value hers. So when she stops responding, don't try harder. Step back with grace. Her silence isn't rejection. It's redirection towards someone who will meet you halfway without hesitation. And that's not a loss. That's alignment. Number 5. She's testing your patience. Sometimes her silence isn't rejection. It's observation. She wants to see what you'll do when things don't go your way. Will you panic? Will you double text? Will you try to win her attention back with effort that screams insecurity instead of confidence? Or will you stay composed and unbothered? When a woman tests your patience, it's not always intentional, but it's always revealing. Because how you respond under uncertainty tells her everything she needs to know about your emotional maturity. Every relationship, no matter how new, reaches this quiet space where one person pulls back slightly just to see how the other will react. It's not a game. It's human curiosity. She wants to know if your calm is real or if it's just a mask that slips the second you feel ignored. This is where emotional control separates men from boys. Most men panic when they feel that distance. They start chasing, apologizing for things they didn't do, or sending just checking in messages that reek of neediness. But the truth is, she's not looking for perfection. She's looking for composure, for steadiness, for a man who can handle silence without unraveling. Patience, in the language of attraction, is power. It communicates self-worth. It says, I'm not desperate for your attention because my sense of value doesn't depend on it. That kind of calm energy draws respect, even admiration. Because deep down, every woman wants to feel that the man she's dealing with can handle pressure without losing himself. You see, when you rush to fill the silence, you kill the tension that builds attraction. But when you let that space breathe, when you allow her to miss your presence, you stand out. You become rare. It's not about playing games. It's about demonstrating emotional balance. The man who can stay still in the middle of uncertainty doesn't need to prove anything. His calm is the proof. So the next time she leaves you hanging, don't react. Respond by doing nothing, by choosing stillness over chasing. Because silence isn't weakness. It's emotional strength in its purest form. And if she's testing your patience, that's fine. Let her test. You'll pass, not by trying harder, but by standing still. Number 6. She's genuinely busy, but only sometimes. Not every silence is a red flag. Sometimes life really does get in the way. Work deadlines, family drama, mental overload. People have seasons when they just don't have the emotional bandwidth to text back. It's not always about you. It's about capacity. But here's the catch. Genuine busyness is temporary. If she truly values the connection, even a busy woman will find small ways to show you she still cares. You'll notice it in subtle gestures. She'll apologize for taking long to reply. She'll send a message that explains, not excuses. Sorry, today's been insane, but I wanted to reply before crashing. She'll still show warmth, even if it's brief. When someone values you, they make an effort to keep the line alive, no matter how chaotic things get. Now contrast that with the kind of busy that never ends. The one that shows up only when you initiate. The one that posts selfies, shares stories, likes posts, but somehow never finds 10 seconds to acknowledge your message. That's not busyness. That's avoidance dressed as an excuse. And deep down, you can feel the difference. Here's the truth. Everyone's busy, but people prioritize differently. The woman who's truly interested will make time. Maybe not immediately, but intentionally. The one who's not will keep you waiting indefinitely, hoping you'll take the hint without her having to say it out loud. So what should you do? Don't jump to conclusions and don't chase clarity. Observe. Let her actions tell you what words don't. If she circles back with genuine energy, great, the connection's still alive. If not, let silence be your signal to pull back gracefully. Emotional maturity means you don't punish someone for being busy, but you also don't tolerate being forgotten. You simply recognize the difference and act accordingly. Remember this: busy is a moment. Disinterest is a pattern. The woman who's truly into you will eventually make space for you in her world. And if she doesn't, that space wasn't meant for you to fill in the first place. So instead of taking her silence as rejection, take it as information. Because sometimes, "I've just been busy" is true. But when it's not, your calm awareness will tell you everything you need to know. Number 7. She likes you, but doesn't know what to say. Here's a twist you probably didn't expect. Sometimes her silence isn't rejection or disinterest at all. Sometimes she likes you more than she knows how to handle. Sounds strange, right? But it happens more often than you'd think. When a woman really likes someone, especially early on, it can trigger overthinking. She starts replaying your messages in her head, trying to come up with the perfect response. She wonders, what if I sound too eager? What if I say something dumb? What if I come off as too available? That mental noise builds anxiety, and instead of replying, she freezes. Not because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much. See, society tells women to play it cool, to never seem too interested first. So even when she genuinely wants to talk to you, she might hold back to protect herself from seeming desperate or vulnerable. And that hesitation, that silence, can feel like rejection from your end, even though it's just nerves from hers. You might notice mixed signals. She views your stories, reacts to your posts, maybe even texts back later with enthusiasm. But those long pauses in between make you doubt. The truth is, she's battling with her own thoughts, trying to measure every word, every emoji, every reply. In this situation, the worst thing you can do is take it personally. Don't get defensive or cold. The best thing you can do, make her feel safe. When a woman senses emotional safety, when she feels that you're patient, calm, and non-judgmental, she relaxes. And when she relaxes, she opens up. You don't have to fix her silence or demand answers. Just stay consistent, grounded, and kind. Let her see that your interest isn't conditional on her instant replies. That's what builds trust. That's what turns hesitation into connection. Because sometimes silence isn't the absence of interest, it's the overflow of emotion. She's quiet because she's thinking too much, feeling too much, and doesn't know how to express it yet. So don't rush her. Don't push. Just hold your space. Steady, calm, understanding. Because the right woman will speak when she feels safe enough to be heard. And when she does, you'll realize her silence was never rejection. It was vulnerability in disguise. When she reads your message and doesn't reply, it's easy to spiral. To overthink every word, every emoji, every second of silence. But now you know the truth. Not all silences are created equal. Some are games, some are boundaries, some are genuine distractions, and some are fear disguised as calm. Each one says something different. But all of them teach you the same lesson. You can't control her responses, only your reactions. Her silence is not a mystery to decode. It's information. It's feedback. It's her emotional language, and your job isn't to force her to speak louder, but to listen smarter. Sometimes that means pulling back instead of pushing harder. Sometimes that means letting go instead of clinging on. Every scene with no reply, every delayed message, every quiet fade out, they all serve one purpose, to show you where you stand. And once you see that clearly, your energy should follow your awareness. Move where it's reciprocated. Stay where it's valued. Withdraw where it's not. That's not detachment out of pride. That's self-respect. Because at the end of the day, emotional power doesn't come from being wanted. It comes from being unshaken when you're not. You don't need to beg for clarity. You are the clarity. You don't need to demand attention. You become the presence that commands it naturally, through calm, confidence, and consistency. The moment you stop chasing responses, you start reclaiming control. The noise quiets. The doubt fades. You begin to attract the kind of woman who sees your steadiness as strength, not a challenge. And that's when dating stops being a game and starts being a reflection of who you truly are. When you master silence, you master attraction. Because the right woman won't make you chase words. She'll meet you with energy, and the man who understands that never has to chase anything again. If this video helped you see things differently, hit subscribe. Every week, we dive deeper into the unspoken side of dating, the psychology, the patterns, the power behind what people don't say. Until next time, stay calm, stay grounded, and as always, stay in control.